just get the last little bits of stuff pulled together. Um, got one or two little handouts I want to have done for our players. And just need to get them loaded on in so that they are ready to go. How's everyone doing out there? Where do I want to do this? Yeah, I think I'll do that there. Hey there! Both of my light folks are in the house. Good to see you both. How are y'all doing today? Just getting myself ready for this session. I had one or two last little things I needed to get in to the to old Roll20 here, just so that we'd be ready to go for our players. Nil chill. Oh, okay. I now have just made that connection. So yeah, we were talking about handouts. I was going to actually send some to you. Did you take a look and find the ones that I was referencing on the Discord? Actually, it might have been someone else who was asking me what kind of things I make for handouts. I'm trying to remember. Too many conversations going on that I get myself involved in and then don't remember who all it was, and especially when names swap. I'm an old man. I admit it. It's the reality. Getting old sucks. Gonna have a fun session today, I think. For those of you who tuned in, actually, I know Nilchill was around when we were putting together the notes for this session. We have yet to even get to all the stuff that we did during the DM's desk a couple weeks ago, actually, now. Yeah. Get that up so I can see who all's in and around. All these different windows, and for some reason they're not landing where they normally do. There, now we get them back. That's better. Getting some coffee in me. I had a good workout this morning. Man, Light Infinity, man, I've been having a blast in our Cyberpunk campaign. I think I was talking to Bird about if we wanted to do it as a real thing to stream, of doing it as a Numenera campaign, the Cypher system, which I think would work really well for it. Maybe not all of the accoutrement that goes along with it, like with Numenera, but just the basics of the dice influence. I think could be really cool. Oh, I need to check to see. I don't think we had any donations during the week. But we might have. Let me just double check. I don't want to... Yay bits. Yep, all happened last. Cool. But we did have quite a few followers who showed up over the week. That's nice. Gosh, 6 followers during the week when I wasn't even broadcasting. Look at that. It's always nice. I don't even know how many followers do I have these days. I don't even know. It's terrible. Golly, 756? Holy cow. Wow, you guys are awesome. Hey, Tanya, how you doing? So, same item, different name, because I put a backstory to it. I think you're going to really like it. Still does all the same thing. It's just I've changed it up a little bit. I should have sent it out to you. I just forgot. Completely forgot. And I forgot to press send on my tweet that I had prepared. Oops. Okay, I need to close down the old Twitter for the game. I need to get my notes all set to go. Have all my references up. I'm just going to say, yeah, you all have lived with the insanity of my references. Hey, Wandering, how you doing? Hey, look at you, Shuggy, with a new username. Viridian Knight. I like it. That's a really cool name. Viridian Knight. Viridian Knights. Wow, what a cool name. I might steal that from you, Shuggy. I can't decide if I want it to be like a tavern or whether I want it to be a group of warriors. Knowing what I know about you, I think it's probably like the really swanky tavern in town. Viridian Knights. VK. That's kind of cool. Yes, thank you for asking, Bird. Right on it, my man. Hey, look at that. Matter's hosting us back. Woohoo. Hey, Light, what's up? Look at that. We got a host from Matter. Remember when we first discovered each other way back? I'm trying to think whether that was I don't know if it was a Vice host or it probably was like a Dungeons and Coffee host. Or raid that we did. I bet it was a Dungeons and Coffee raid. Let's see how the old green room is filling up. We got a Templar. I got one. I know I don't have a good guy pie today. Oh, I'm missing a Danny. That's odd. Ooh, or I wonder, is this the day Danny's out? Okay, this is me forgetting things. No, Danny's not out till April, right? Danny's supposed to be here. It's just he's usually here by now. I think it's a day in April that Danny is out. I don't think it's today. Just checking to see if they know where our buddy Danny is. Viridian. Ooh. Dude, I love it. Viridian. That's so cool. Wish I would have thought of it. Right? I'm thinking it's like Viridian Knights, like actual knights, though. Like Viridian. Like Viridian Knights. Maybe like a show bar, a show tavern. Ooh, I could put them in the overhang district of... I think Viridian... I know Verdant is green. Isn't Viridian more blue? Or blue-green? Or is Viridian just a tense of Verdant? I'm an engineer. I don't know this language stuff. Yeah, guest bards every Friday and Saturday. Ooh, Iska might have a gig there. That could be fun. Yeah. Oh, actually, I've been needing a name for that tavern. Maybe that would be the name of it. Ooh, it would be perfect, too. Yeah, Viridian. I think your name might become a tavern. I'm thinking your name's going to become a tavern. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. You guys are so much fun. I love my community. Ah. On the door. On the door. Well, I'm going to tell my players we're going live. Oh, and there's Danny. Okay, we're going live, folks. I'll see you guys on the other side. Let's see. We're in the old 7 cam. Look at that. Hey, folks. And here are all our players ready to go. And oh my gosh, have I only got... Oh, I know. I thought I only had like one person out of place. That I thought we had like the magical moment.
We're all here. It's already a magical moment.
Woo! Anyways, welcome everyone. We're going to get started first by introducing our players. Let's start with Tree Hugging Druid.
Hi, I'm Tree Hugging Druid. I play Celia Roller and our high elf rogue. She's a rogue and she does roguey things.
We have Dragons Are Cats, who is our too cool for school Eladrin Warlock. You know, who's muted.
Round Shades.
Oh, he's not. There he is.
Round Shades are all the rage in the cradles this year. You know it.
Spheres, you know. They got to be circles. Yeah. Everything's circles in the spheres.
Exactly. Crystal, too, bitch.
Pleasure.
So thank you, Ben. Thank you, Viridian Knight. Thank you so much. I'm playing Ishkrin, the Eladrin Warlock, who's going to be probably tagging Sylvanstone again. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
I shouldn't do that. I'm just
in a big happy birthday to Dragons, who almost shares a birthday with our good buddy, Good Guy Pie, who is out somewhere in Europe getting drunk now, I am sure. Speaking of getting drunk in Europe, Bird versus Plane.
Something I've only dreamed of doing. I will get drunk in the States, though, on a regular basis. Hi there, I'm Bird vs. Plane. I'll be playing Iskatul, the half-elf bard/gunslinger, who's ready to do some stuff, figure out some more after a fairly emotional conversation with Kel. Let's just solve our broken boys, please. Please let us solve our broken boys.
Then we have NNG Nye, who doesn't care a darn for any of the broken boys. She wants to break the
Hello,
boys.
beautiful viewers. I'm the illustrious NG9. I play Lunar, a water gymnasi monk who's just enjoying making clothes for a doll that's gonna have no emotional repercussions for anybody.
None whatsoever. No, none. Speaking of emotional repercussions, we have Templar Warden.
Hello, I am Templar Warden, and I will be playing Hidden by Axel, the resident Tabaxi wizard and bringer of life and master of death. Now, yeah, I will be playing Hidden by Axel, Tabaxi wizard, yeah, who's recently discovered that he can give life.
Hey, you know, it's a thing. It's just a thing he can do, you know. And last but not least, our good buddy Toonarth.
Yes, and happy Father's Day to Axel. And what's this about broken boys? Everybody in this group is broken. I mean, come on. So I'm playing Kel, the Wood Elf Druid, who, yeah, is definitely broken in numerous ways at this point. So, yeah, let's find out what happens. Do I want to find out what happens? I don't know.
Things will happen, whether you want to find out or not. I am Tall Squall. I am your DM and host for today. Welcome to our campaign known as The Vice. We're on episode 59. Can you believe it? And we do run our station 100% for charity. This month we have been supporting Mr. Holland's Opus Fund, who helps to bring musical instruments to underfunded music programs across the country, so that those schools out there who wouldn't normally be able to afford having a music program are able to have them. They are a wonderful organization. They also have lots of outlets around the country. You might be able to find one near you for volunteer opportunities. And if you'd like to donate to affect our game by giving the players natural 20s, advantages, magical items, things like that, you can see the shopping lists down below. Or if you just want to find out more about the Mr. Holland Opus Fund, what you can do is click on in the description, you'll see the name highlighted. If you click on that, it just takes you right there without having to go through any type of a donation thing. And yeah, so feel free to support us in that way. Or if you want to just retweet our tweets and let people know that we're out there doing this, it is super appreciated. Or just come and hang out with us for a couple hours as this cast gives you some emotional, amazing moments of role play as I just sort of throw little breadcrumbs here and there and they make them amazing. So to set our scene a little bit, we're going to get back into it. Last time we had a new friend of the party and crusher of Cilia, Thousand Teeth.
Team Thousand Teeth.
Thousand Teeth, who is a surge-affected tabaxi whose fur was basically turned into teeth, guided the party down to the entrance of the Smuggler's Gambit, which is this pathway, trail, sort of secret way that smugglers use without taking the main roads to get from the east, which is at the eastern terminus of the Vice, down to Falcon's Crest without having to pass on basically the Viceroy's roads or through Providence and other larger settlements. it does cut almost a month off your journey, and since our party has found themselves in need of getting to Falcon's Crest in a hurry, have decided to take on the challenge of traveling down Smuggler's Gambit. Upon arriving, a recent storm had caused a flood through the ravine that the beginning of this trail runs through. They had to clear some debris out, found quite a few corpses of animals that had been caught in this flash flood, and sort of picked their way down through this first section of the trail, saying goodbye to 1,000 Teeth and sending him back to the Black Cliff village where he is from. Along the way, a couple different things sort of came up. Found a couple of items, some in the debris, a couple scroll cases that had scrolls from you guys, from our viewer donations, as well as some large claw marks where potentially some large creature with giant claws got washed down this ravine during the flash flood. Everyone's sort of keeping a good eye out for that. Also, Kel's keeping an ear to the weather, knowing that flash floods and canyons can, if it messed with this giant beast that's left claw marks here, probably is not going to be very good news for our party and their mounts. However, they pretty much uneventfully made their way through the day and then reached a camping place late afternoon, a little earlier than they might have wanted to camp, but weren't quite ready to move on into a small slot canyon that goes off of this sort of basin that they found themselves in. During that time, Luna did take out a doll that she was given to her by Dustin to begin sewing an outfit for it, which Kel did recognize from his vision and realized that he has a connection to Dustin, as he was the demon marked one that destroyed their home, their new settlement of Tiller's Grove, about 2 years ago before he met the party. As everyone was settling in for the night, Axel began working on the life rune, which he worked on for several hours, while Iska and Kel sort of went off to quietly talk, where Kel confessed about his side of this incident that happened at Tiller's Grove. As we got late into the night, Iskrin, Luna, and Luck, having already turned in pretty much for the evening, starting their reverie and or long rest. Celia kept watch, doing her roguey things out in the shadows, while Axel finished his research on the life rune and taking a twig that had caught his attention from a couple days before as he climbed to the very top of a evergreen tree, imbued life upon this small twig. We're going to pick up pretty much right where we left off, but the camera's going to switch over for just a moment. Iska, as you and Kel are embracing each other, just giving emotional support for all that you've endured, and then also just that bond that you have from having spent so much time pretty much alone, and now having people there, while it can be a comfort, it also can be a burden. And as you, in the darkness under the stars, as the night cools off, in your head you hear what sounds like a musical note. This incredible, glorious chord of music. It's like the same note being played on every instrument, every register, all at once in perfect pitch, as you sit there underneath the stars. It's in your mind, but it seems to be coming from back towards the campsite. We'll shift back to Axel now. Oh, as he puts a peanut butter cup or something in his mouth, something obviously cheesy.
Timing.
Yeah. Sorry. I'll set the scene a little bit. Axel sits right on that edge of the campfire light, sort of half in shadow and half in firelight. Under the stars, his breath just barely starting to show as the air cools down into the night. He looks down at this twig with this finger that has been afflicted by the vice surge and has slowly rotted away during the day, and is shaking hands with this tiny little twig about 18 inches high as it looks up sort of with a cocked head at him and sort of leans in to the welcoming voice of Axel.
I'm not really your daddy, well, but I gave you life. So it's kind of the same thing. I didn't have it. You're amazing. Hey, he sort of pauses for a moment, tilts his head. So there's sort of every now and then a tear, but he's like, "You're a genius, you know. You just gave me an idea." And he looks down at this rotted hands and it's sort of just life, sort of looks at it and sees not quite what Iskrin sees, but sees the death, the representation of the death, including his mark around his neck. And he sees that, and he sees life, and he sees the duality of them with that one moment, that one touch, and sees that sort of two sides of a different coin in many ways. And he realizes that they don't have to be distinct, that sometimes death can bring life and life can bring death, and he just gets the pieces stick together in his mind as he realizes that there's a magic there that he could tie down right into a spell and control as he learns the spell life transference.
And
all from little twig.
As that moment, that realization in Axel's mind, always forever working on magic and spells, clicks, it's almost like it unlocks a new way to think about magic. And Axel levels up to level 7. So, anything else you want to share, Axel? Or should we have the camera slide back over?
Yeah, he's sort of caught in the moment.
Yeah. We'll have the camera slide back over to Iska and Kel, as Iska has just heard and experienced this odd ringing. It's something familiar. Do me actually I'm gonna do a performance check with advantage because it's a musical note. Nat 20 will do it. You've heard this note several times before, actually. What first comes to mind is it is the first note of Clotho's spinning wheel. But when you play it, it is almost sort of like strumming that note. Because this, you realize, where you heard it the very first time, was in your vision after composing Gandry's heart. When you were confronted with the three sisters, and as threads of fate were spun out of nothingness into threads, that first moment of creation resounded with that note. You have just heard a new thread of fate be created that was not in existence before.
I think she, you said I could hear it coming directly from the camp, right? Or from the camp's direction,
Just
right?
a little bit, yeah, from the camp's direction, a little bit offset from it.
She, pulls back from Kel suddenly, not out of, if they're still embracing, right?
Yeah.
Just at the
And
scene.
Gil's like, what is it? What's wrong?
And you just see her wide-eyed. Still some of the tears on her face as she's just staring directly back towards the camp. And
Go ahead.
no,
I look in the direction she's looking, and then I jump up and run towards the camp.
Okay.
yeah, I don't even think she stops to explain. I think she wants to chase this down. She knows that there's some of this remnant of fate out there.
Yeah.
All Kel knows is that Iska's reacting to something. Something's wrong.
So, Celia, do me a perception check. Kel, do me a perception check. Iska, do me a perception check with advantage. Wow, look at this. 12s and 20s. Celia, you see Kel sprinting out of darkness towards the camp, obviously in a flat-out, all but sprint, knowing that he is always very alert to dangers. You basically charge towards him and start running, getting ready to see what could possibly be coming your way. Iska, as Kel and Celia go charging all but straight towards the campfire, you hear the note sort of drifting away, and it is not at the campfire. It is just at that spot where light turns into darkness. And while at first you would have thought it was a rock sitting so still, you see Axel sitting, kneeling down with his hand out towards something. He's basically just a silhouette with only one side of him in light and the other side in darkness. And you're drawn towards it.
I make my way to Axel now, slowly, but as I get closer, with taking in the scene around me, close my eyes, actually, and just try to focus on the note.
As soon as I get to camp, and to the campfire, I'm just instantly just looking around, and also looking back to see where Iska is.
Yep. You see Iska has slowed down and is slowly walking towards him. From where you are, you're basically Axel's in full light because that side's towards the fire. And you see her walking towards Axel, and you see him with his arm out looking like towards a little twig that's just sticking out of the ground. From this distance, you don't detect any motion from the twig.
Is Axel moving?
I mean, he's breathing. I mean, he's just sort of very still. You saw his arm sort of seems to be moving down towards this twig, and he has his books laid out all around him on the rocks.
Not paralyzed or anything.
No, no. He's definitely there. Let's see what your perception check was. On a 20, as you are standing there, I mean, there's other animals around the area. Some of them probably predatory, but not something that's immediately seeming as a threat to you. This basin had a lot of debris and carcasses. I mean, so probably some nighttime nocturnal scavengers are about. But I mean, we're talking, raccoons, maybe like, coyote sized, nothing crazy. I mean, that are down here as well. They seem to be going about their business. Celia, on a 12, you're focused on Kel. What does he see? What's going on?
Since I see Iska, and she's not running at this point, she's just walking, is that correct?
Yep, towards Axel, yeah.
Then I will head towards them, kind of letting Iska take the lead, because obviously something's going on, but it's not immediately threatening, so I'll just kind of head towards, I guess, where I'd intercept Iska on her way to Axel and then join her.
I'm going to have Luna and Iskren do me a perception check just at disadvantage because you are sleeping, just to see. No one's called the alarm, but with this much noise going on, and I think you guys probably sleep through it. It's outdoors. There's been, there's a water, the water's rushing by. I mean, there's a lot of sort of ambient noise in the area, so it doesn't necessarily get you up. We'll say Luck's a heavy sleeper. So, Axel, Iska, I hand it to you.
Axel's still sort of overwhelmed by all that's going on, and he doesn't particularly look up until Kel is sort of next to Iska, and he's up with this big smile. Come here, and he sort of reaches out and grabs onto Iska. Doesn't move away from where he is, and just pulls Iska over. Come here. And pulls her down. And is her eyes still closed?
They would have been until she heard Axel say, like, come here. Then she'll, focus on whatever he's directing her towards.
Yeah. So he sort of sits down. This is, and he sort of pulls her hand towards the little twig. This is, I haven't named it. I made him. It's alive.
She looks at Axel.
It's just a twig, but it's alive. And it sort of turns towards you and looks up at you. Sort of just new to this whole world, like a child sort of thing, this twig.
You did this? How?
Dragons, I guess. But I saw how life, how life works, how death works, and it's like all magic. You put the right thing in the right place, and it works. So, reaches out and gives it a scratch, sort of on the neck. It's like I don't know that it likes that. I haven't named it anything, but I made him.
Kel will approach slowly and kind of crouch down and then look at Axel, with a, like, not saying anything, but kind of asking permission.
Yeah, go on. And he sort of backs off and lets two of them.
And Kel will reach his hand down to the ground with his palm up. And then just touch it very gently and see if it will allow him to pick it up, just so that it'll be perched on his hand.
Well, it's a stick sort of dug into the sand. There's no legs.
Oh, okay. I thought it. I'm sorry.
Dug into the sand. It is a twig sticking up out of the dirt.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But it sort of leaks into you.
Rich, back that up just a moment. Then I will just, Kel will reach out and just kind of do what Axel was doing and touch it gently and see how it responds. See if it responds to him at all, or if it's just focused on Axel.
It turned to look at Iska when sort of Axel brought her hand over and it sort of reached out to grab onto her. And then it turns to just this Kel. It doesn't have movable eyes, but it's just these two pebbles. Tilts its head and reaches out and sort of grabs onto it. Kel's hand, so it's holding onto the two of them. Just this sort of complete sort of innocence about it. Yeah.
Kel will just sit there and just be in the moment with this creature.
Yeah,
and he's kind of gonna zone out of everybody else.
I think Iska wants to say something more, but has a hard time finding the words. Seeing this creation of Axel and being there during the last encounter with a new, not creation, but new discovery of that horrific serpent, and knowing Axel is capable of that, but seeing now he's capable of this too, I think she just turns back to look at Axel with just nothing but like pride, like for her friend in her eyes. Just taken aback still by the creation of this note. Is it still ringing out, or is it kind of that note, Jay, just kind of equalizing?
I'd say it's equalizing, but when he tells you what he's done, it all sort of comes together for you. Yeah, this is, it's miraculous. It is a twig, separated from a tree, without, not, it's not like Tian's candles. There's a different feel about this than Tian's candles had. It's not, you've, as a bard, of awakened, you've heard, there's grand stories of awakened trees, but again, those are whole trees, things that are these viable living things. This is just, it's a twig that has been broken off of a tree, something that would, in a storm would lay on the ground and wither, yet now has life, being sustained by Axel.
Sort of smiling. And what do we think we should name it? We've only got a little bit of time.
He's yours, Axel. It's yours, Axel. What do you like?
It's a big decision. Riley. It's it gets kind of draconic for Tree, but I like it. Rayleigh. Rayleigh is how. Yeah, Rayleigh. It's not actually draconic, but it's sort of more pronounceable. Reylee. Right. Hey, Rayleigh. Hey. Just reaches out to. You good? You good, fella?
It seems to respond, knowing, there's magic in names. And it almost immediately responds, recognizing that is now its name.
Kel will get up and back away now.
Their name. I guess it should be correctly. Their name.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna be teaching you all sorts of little things, and we're gonna go on. You're gonna come with us, and we're gonna go on adventures. Is that right? So, but firstly, I'm gonna make you a better body, one that you can move around in. It's gonna take some time, but you'll help me, right? Let's go, Cal.
Yes, Axel, anything.
Whatever I can do to help.
Yeah.
About that time, Rayleigh sort of looks up to each one of you. These little stone eyes, this carved smile that can't actually move. And slowly you see their arms stiffen back up. And then it's just a twig.
Axel sort of just reaches out and not trying to really do anything, which is just trace the symbol again in sort of a memory. I'll bring you back. Don't you worry. Well, I need to take notes. It's fine. He's not dead. It's just sleeping in that room. Big cat yawn. Are you two alright?
Iska looks to Kel, looking for his answer.
For tonight, I'm all right.
Okay, well, and he goes and gets his notes, and he starts sort of taking notes. He looks a bit tired. He's a bit doing this, and it's sort of edging into sleep time, really.
So, Celia, did you sort of watch from afar this, or did you get back to your roguiness? Keep making sure that.
She would have watched for like a few minutes, and then kind of backed off and continued her watch.
Okay. The rest of your watch goes by uneventfully. Iskrin, you finish your reverie and sort of come awake.
Before we finish, before I go to do my meditation for the evening, and before Iska goes to sleep, Kel will just go over to her and give her just a very brief last hug and whisper, "Thank you."
Anytime.
And then he'll go off and
Okay.
Start his long rest.
Luna, you're still sleeping. You're an 8-hour person. Axel, after a little bit of time, you grow tired. And anything special you do before preparing for the evening?
I've been taking sort of the notes. He will, he'll sort of pull the twig out and just sort of cuddle it while he sleeps next to the drake. He sort of curls up next to the drake.
Okay. Iska, yourself?
Raid hype.
Yeah, raid hype. Hi to everyone who came in and said hello. Iska, you've had a night. Actually, you've had a day and a night, as it started with in the ring with luck.
It's good. Iska's just the group's squishy ball. They can just squeeze whenever they're stressed. No, Iska will prepare for a long rest, a deep sleep, but be sure to just take in both Axel and Kel before she does. Before today, had no idea how this journey was going to turn out with the two of them, but just from seeing them today, like it's kind of like a whole new light. There's some of that tension dropped off. So she'll just kind of be thankful for the way this day has gone. Sometimes we get good days here. Sometimes we get good days.
And then we pay for them.
Iskra and Celia, you kind of cross paths as you guys are coming out of reverie. Iskra, do me a Arcana check, coupled with a Perception check.
Alrighty.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, DC was 30, so you were well over it. As you come out of your reverie, a couple things come to your attention. The first and biggest one, when major events, magical events happen, they leave a mark on the weave. Indelible. It was a mark, the mark at Moss Hollow, someone took great pains to cover up the mark of the magics that were unleashed there to eradicate the indigo seed. There is a deep well in the life weave. Something incredible happened here.
Okay. Coming out of reverie, goes from a kneel to a stand. Nods to Celia and gives her a high five. And then after that, he notices it and sees Axel curled up around in the center of this one. Correct?
I don't know. That's the thing. The well stays where it was, so it's probably not around Axel right now. If he moved over and is curled up by his mount, it didn't travel with the twig.
Oh.
It's literally from where the magic occurred. So it's a little bit off.
I thought he was just curled up around the twig. My mistake.
Yeah, he pulled twig out of the ground.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Ishin's just gonna not audibly gasp, but his mouth's just going to drop a little bit. And just going to whisper to himself, how do I always miss these? He's just going to slowly but surely walk on over to it, but start his body position is going to drop, so he's in a full solid snake kneel, crawl walk as he gets over to it, and he's just going to look at the side, just being on the edge of the well, just looking at all of it, and just he's going to try bask his fingers through the mark that's there, but not actually touch the ground.
Yeah.
To see what's going on.
Yeah, and this is someone harnessed the pure power of the life weave here, is what you're able to discern with your perception and arcana being what it was. There's places in your mind that are blocked to you right now where this is that this is not something you see every day. It is the power of life itself being harnessed.
Kind of look down at it. Eyes flash to the rest of everyone who's around. And eyebrows raised to Luna as she's still asleep. And then just looks around to Kel. Who else is awake at the moment? Sorry, I blanked on that.
I think it's just you.
Oh.
If Celia's gone into a reverie, it's just you. Gosh, you left Iskrit alone on watch. It kind of had to happen though, because Kel stayed up late. So
yeah, he's gonna stay by the mark for a while. The mark on the wave. He's just going to look around at all of these people, all these beings he's met, and each and every one of them has made such an impact on Iskrit. Before he met them, he reflects, he was more than happy to eradicate an entire sphere full of individuals, lower beings than himself, as he thought. But now, a lot's gone down. He gives himself a slight smile, and he flashes Lyle out of his holster and into his hand. Everything will continue, he says. Life is going to go on, whether we make a difference or not. It'll work out for the best, I hope.
We always do find a way.
Speaking of a way, he pulls out the astrolabe and tries to click it open. The 7 sets of 7 slowly approaches. Each day is another lost opportunity. A bigger threat looms. I'm kind of, as he looks up to the sky, I'm wondering how many are looking down on us, how many Neverwings, how many there actually are. I'm still concerned just who was the one who was holding the staff, and what their deal is in this. For this convergence they all plan to have, this Balathero, is it? I don't know. This could be the greatest feed this sphere's ever had. This could be bad. He clicks open. As he activates the astrolabe, he just wants to get a general idea of how it's all traveling in the multiverse and when it's going to line up and how the gate's going to be looking, and just see what effects have happened around here in the past. Well, in a sense.
You can give me an Arcana check to see if you can get some kind of a read. Darn if that astrolabe is still just eluding you in the information that you want to get out of it. But
I close it, put it back on the side of my belt, and I just say, "Those crafters were crafty." It's just an audible sigh.
Okay. And then we'll go ahead and sort of get through the rest of the night and move on to the next morning as dawn approaches. The sky begins to lighten. Luck, having turned in early, is up early, just coaxing the fire back into strong enough to cook by. You all are welcomed to the morning with the smell of cooking bacon and other things like that. Rations made as edible and tasty as Luck's able to, but they still are just rations for the most part. Kel, I believe you already foraged around this area last night, so you pretty much there's not a whole lot more to bring back. A little bit of leftovers from last night Luck is able to use, but unless there's anything you guys want to do here around the campfire, we can get moving again. Anything special, Luna, as you come awake?
Nope.
Okay.
I pray. I train. Do whatever thing. We gotta get on the road and get Axel undying. Lich incoming.
He's not a lich yet.
Axel looks fine this morning.
He does look fine.
Eyed and bushy tailed.
No, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
He really does. So as I had mentioned before, you can see where this sort of stream that you had been following curves off into this slot canyon. In this area, however, though, the bottom of this canyon, much narrower than the one you were in before, you can see is there before you. It's about the only way you guys can go. I'm assuming that's the way you're going to head.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get you all over there. As you first start out, that's not my right music. There we go. There we go. As you enter this slot canyon, the winding path sort of goes out in front of you, and you see the vertical walls are covered in moss and sort of shimmering with dew in the morning after the cool night. Some of that has turned into little ice crystals, just cold enough just to get a little bit of frost on them, sort of giving it this sort of ethereal feel to it. There's just this sort of eerie, mysterious air to the still air within this pathway and what lies ahead. After just one or two little sandbars, from wall to wall is completely now water, probably around, in some cases only 3 or 4 inches deep, in other places a little bit deeper to 6 to maybe 8 inches deep, but pretty much you're going to find that you'll be walking in water for most of the day.
Luna is extremely happy.
The stream, it does trickles underfoot. It's not fast moving at this point, but I mean, it's got some current to it. And you can see that probably this area is almost always underwater. The stones in the bed of the river are smooth, have been ground smooth, as river rock does. So all of them are of a sort of oval and smoothed out shape. It seems as though the basin you were in before caught most of the debris of the flash flood, and anything that washed down this way was either larger or made it sort of past this choke point that you go through. The canyon is only about 15 feet wide, and sometimes even narrows down to as little as 5 feet wide. On the left side of the canyon, the granite-like sylvan stone that Iska and Iskrin saw the night before is rough-hewn, not like the polished sylvan stone you had seen before. Down towards the bottom where the water runs, you can see that it is smooth, but not polished as such. And as it's still in shadow, as the sun hasn't really come up yet, you can see, as sylvan stone does, that it sparkles with that sort of captured magic that still remains within it. So much so in this place that you can see sort of faint, glowing motes of misty, arcane potential that drift sort of lazily across the rock face, as doesn't even seem like a breath of a breeze has made it into this area yet. To the opposite side of it, you see those limestone that you were familiar with from the outcroppings, and they sort of glow in this golden hue of sunrise. However, certain places they're punctuated by these spans of sort of dark, rich earth. Higher up, mostly towards the bottom, it's all stone, but higher up you can see these sort of dark pockets of rich earth. And there's these huge tangles of roots and growth that push down through this rich soil. And as you sort of trace those roots upwards, you're able to see the massive trunks of the trees of the Midnight Weald towering up overhead. They'd almost be threatening to topple into this canyon if it weren't for the massive anchorages of these roots and growth that have grown down into the soil and probably around these, around the limestone cliff side that you're seeing. As you walk forward, there's almost this palpable feeling of tension, almost an air of conflict captured between these two walls of stone, like two vast forces, one of nature and one of magic, the Sylvan Expanse and the Midnight Weald, each trying to encroach on the others, but separated by this narrow ribbon, this cut of water in this canyon that you guys are now walking through. Iskrin, as you guys travel not more than 15 minutes down this slot, you see as the weave gets more and more stable. Still faint distortions because of your proximity to the device. There's sort of a constant current in the weave moving against you, sort of as though it's being pulled to the north back up the canyon. But there's a weird balance that has happened here between the Midnight Weald and the old magic stored there. And when you approach the wall of the Sylvan Expanse and the Midnight Weald, you can feel, like I say, that tension and balance, old magic of the Sylvan Expanse, and this dampening effect of the roots and growth of the Midnight Weald. Because of the twisting path, you can't see, any of you can see probably more than 30 or 40 feet ahead of you at any given time. But even from where you are, you quickly realize you are going to have to sort of navigate over some boulders and large rocks that have blocked the way for travel by animals or humanoids, but the water is sort of flowed under and around as you go here. Because of the narrow space, I am going to need a marching order from you guys.
What order do we want to die in?
Iskren first. Iskren first.
I was going to say luck first. Yeah. No, Iskren first. That's good. I could.
Actually, I know we're sort of joking about luck being first, but luck probably would all but take
honestly,
the lead.
because it would be because I'm riding with him, and so
so actually
I figured
that makes sense.
So luck, Kel.
I will take up the rear.
Celia can be next.
So Celia from the rear or from the front?
Front.
Yep. Where's everyone else want to fall in between?
Go behind.
I would think Iskren would be behind Celia, and then Iska, and then Axel.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah, it's fine with me.
Yeah. That works.
Luna at the back.
So, Isgren. Yeah, so we can be near Celia, and Luna can watch over. Then Iska, then Axel, or Axel and Iska? Axel and Iska, so Iska's near Luna.
Sure. That's okay.
I imagine Luna's like just casually throwing a rock up in the air.
No, I mean there's a stream right by, so she's just perpetually forming like a water sphere.
Honestly, I was thinking Iska, then Axel, then Luna, so Iska can be closer to range with her whip if necessary.
Your call. However you guys want to do it.
That's assuming we get attacked from the front and not the sides.
That's true, but if it's sides, it doesn't matter.
Put me in front of Axel, and then if a boulder falls on me instead, I'll feel bad about it later for not going.
You'll come back. It's fine. You're the one that's fine for you to die.
You're right.
So I've got Luck, Kel, then Celia, then Iskren, then Iska, then Axel, then Luna.
Correct.
Okay.
Iskren does turn his head back and just looks towards Iska and Axel and just say, "Sir, the site's becoming better. I do have one question. Who decided to create a well back at that little sandbank? Who did that?
What?
Who created the...
No well there.
Oh, yes, there was. Well of life met...
Okay, there we go. I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. There we go.
No?
What?
Yeah, the life wave. Who made the well out of the life wave?
Turns to look at Axel.
I brought a twig to life. Might have been me.
Yeah.
Brought Rayleigh to life.
Rayleigh.
A Rayleigh. Power in names, good friend.
He pulls out a twig. Yeah.
Iskren just says, "Oh, poor little thing. I would like to congratulate
Iskren. When he pulls out the twig, this has as much life weave in it as you would normally expect from a human or a humanoid.
Ooh.
Sorry, quick thing. Was there a donation that went through that we didn't read?
I didn't see one. Let me check. I'm sorry. I got the raid. I've got the subscription.
No
It
donation?
hasn't come through yet. I'll
Okay.
keep a
It might
lookout
take
for it. It sometimes takes a little bit for
Yeah,
it to go
we'll
through.
keep an eye on it.
Yeah, if you don't see it in the next 15 minutes or so, you might want to check to make sure to see if it hit your PayPal account or whatever you pay or whichever way you paid, and so that you don't that somehow it didn't make it through. I know when you first started donating, Luna, there was Alicia, there was almost a day delay.
Like
Yeah.
I had to donate like a day in advance for it to show up. It was ridiculous. Yeah, so explanation. I'm sorry. Okay. But yes, no, Iskrin was being elfy, whatever.
So yes, back to it.
Ishrin looks at Axel and says, "Congratulations, you now remind me of my relationship between myself and my patron, the Frost Prince, who is basically my creator. So, congratulations on becoming on par with Celestial Fae."
I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure. No.
Not yet, buddy. But still, there's
I don't think I'll. I don't think I'll ever get to that point. But I like being. It's strange. It's a lot of expectations. I guess it's not a lot of. I don't even know what to feel, what to think.
But at the same time, there's not. There's still so much freedom in how to use magic that we're all finding out. Magic works in weird, wonderful ways, and look what you've done. Look at all we've done. Do I feel out of character, Jade? Do I feel that teleportation is back on the menu?
I was going to make a snide comment about missing a toe.
No,
I think the better
actually, I mean, you are probably the equivalent of about I would say it's back on. In this place with the stabilization of the weave right now, the current of the vice is not such that that you would feel as though you would be ripped apart by it here, because the weave's not being ripped apart by it.
Alright. I smile at Axel,
Choke you.
and then I turn to Iska. And then I'm just going to just gently say towards Iska, one more stupid thing. I'm going to jump off Kent, run over to Iska, and then teleport her up onto a ledge, over just like a little subtle little ledge.
There's not a whole lot of ledges here that you would be able to land on, but I mean, if you would like to try to land on a ledge, you can.
Make a dexterity check.
I would like to try land on a ledge, please.
Okay. You and Iska need to make a dexterity check to see as you pop up about 30 feet. The walls here are almost 50, 60 feet high, so you're not going to be like up in the sky. But this is covered in moss and somewhat frost right now.
Natural 20. Ishkin's not killing me like this.
Ken,
I'll blow one.
Is it just like direct, or is it like a little slide slant?
No, it's pretty vertical. I mean, there's little places that stick out, but you're just as likely to be overhung as underhung. Iska's safe. So if you want to risk Iska, what is it? It's 3d6 if you fall. You fall. But Iska's up there. It lands very well.
So as he falls,
so like, all right.
Luna
So as the explosion of glitter comes back again, it's basically Ishrin places her on the ledge, but misjudged his own, and just.
Yeah, you sort of scramble a little bit, as literally I all but rolled minimum damage on this. So you sort of scramble a little bit as you slide down. Luna, do you have something you want to do as you see Iskrin sliding down the face?
After he's done sliding down, Luna kind of waits for it, and after he settles, she puts like the quarterstaff, the end of it, like at his throat, not through it, but like just kind of pressing on it. Iskrin. No.
There it is. Shigit, thank you for the $35. Do you all have, if you'd like to, you can shop down below, or we can put it into the spell bank, which will get it up to a level 2 spell, which will cash out at the end of the day. So that gets them for a level 2 spell. If you'd like to put it in the spell bank, just let us know what you'd like to do with it. If you're still around, if you're not, we'll just put it right into the spell bank and have someone roll for a level 2 spell. Anyway, so
Yeah, I was just like, no.
Fair.
Kind of puts the quarterstaff back up. How high up is Iska?
Iska, I would assume 30 feet is 30 feet up. You have your whip though, so I mean, you could from up there you could direct it and you could climb yourself back down pretty easily. It's not, again, since the damage was so low, we'll say it would be an easy rappel to get down.
Or Charlotte's a spider.
Or Charlotte could come up and get you.
That's what I'm thinking. As she calls out for Charlotte, and that giant spider slowly makes its way up the wall to Iska. Her taking in the glory of its 8 legs of movement all the way up the side of the ravine. And she rides it down with her little makeshift seatbelt she fastens out of the whip.
Yep, you are more than able to do that. And since our good buddy Iskrin had some fun, let's roll for that level 2 spell. Give me a second to see how many options we have here. Because we're using the new D&D Beyond for our spells these days.
Beyond.
Beyond, that's a website. Well, we would talk more about it if they sponsored us, but they don't.
Yes.
Exactly. See?
Yeah, I mean, but
Roll me
we
a D4.
Okay. Oop.
And then roll me a D20.
14.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Ooh, oh, y'all gonna want to cash this in because it's the most overpowered spell in Xanthar's. Oh, man.
Well.
Healing Spirit.
Oh, excuse me. Oh.
So this is the one that in combat, this is the one that can be abused so terribly. Because it basically you can make a spot in combat that people basically, if they walk through that spot, they get healed for, gosh, what is it, 1d6? For 1d6 every time they step in that spot. The trick is that it lasts for a minute. And so that literally you can walk through it 10 times out of combat and get 10d6 heals. Basically, people do a conga line through it. Now, a lot of people homebrew that you don't allow it to be used out of combat, and that's going to be my homebrew rule too, because that's just silly to have the conga line of healing at a 2nd level spell to give everyone 10d6 healing. That's like.
But if it is cast in combat, and we still have a few rounds of it left after the combat ends.
I will let you use 1d4 worth of conga line at the end of combat if it still has it left. That way it's,
We're calling it that. You have labeled it that way. We're calling it that, by the way. Don't try and change the conga line. We're calling it that.
Yep. So yeah,
conga line.
Healing Spirit, conga line, because actually it's a druid spell that I believe Kel can take, right? Yeah, Kel can take it. So yeah, so that's what we'll say. So that way you could have, I think what we'll say, it's a fickle spirit. It might stay around for 1 more round. It might stay around for 4 rounds. And a 4d6 heal at the end of combat isn't terrible. I mean, it's not awful. So anyway,
let's cash it.
Say, well, yeah. I mean, well, the reality, it's your call. we can either let the
Well,
sea.
actually, well, it's because it resets at the month anyway. We might as well.
Yeah, you might. I mean, unless we get $90 worth of donations, which would be wonderful over the course of the day. It's probably gonna be yours regardless. But you all can make that decision if for some reason we do get $90 worth of donations.
Sure, yeah. Like,
Then
so
you can
we did
decide
it,
what to do.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. So Iska comes down on her mount, and you guys can continue on your way. Any more shenanigans that you want to do? Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Like I say, there's only one way to go. Y'all are about up to anywhere between your ankles and mid-shin in water as you travel for the next hour or two. There are a couple boulders that you all have to traverse. So let's just do a party dexterity check of helping each other and with your mounts just over some of the obstacles that are in your way.
Just a dex check?
Just a dex check. This isn't a save. Wow!
Wow! A 2, a 1, and a what?
Well, I guess I know where my portents are going.
What we're gonna say. It's just you guys are used to traveling without mounts, and you're quickly realizing that even though you have some very unique and dexterous mounts, these still are sort of slimy, slippery rocks. And if you have a 3 or 4 foot high boulder in front of you, unless you are a giant spider or a giant lizard, even Chocobo has some trouble getting over top of it. Certainly, trying to get Carrot up and over it. Even getting it's not Justice, it is Might. I believe is the name of the Mighty. Getting Mighty the ram over top of it. A slippery rock, even a giant mountain goat does not have a whole lot of take. So, I won't say that there's any damage done other than sort of time lost. We're making pretty good time, and then these couple of rocks you got involved with just sort of slowed everyone down as you had to basically figure out how the heck to get Carrot and Mighty over top of these things. We can roleplay this out if anyone wants to come up with creative ideas of how you got this donkey and thing. Or tell you what, so I'm not putting you on the spot and we don't get hung here. You're probably going to have to do these again and start having something in mind of how to deal with mounts and non-trail-like obstacles, staircases and things.
If Carrot does get stuck, I'm going to dismount from Kent and approach the donkey and say to Luna, may I? Can I?
He's bigger than you. He's a large creature.
Okay, so I can't teleport.
Nope.
Alright, fair. Okay. I can't help anyway.
You can cut them in half.
You have never seen Luna draw her quarterstaff so fast, but she thwacks you on the top of the head with one hand, sheaves it with the other. You barely know what she's done.
Maybe Luna could give us an inspirational speech as she's riding, and it would be a Sermon on the Mount.
Get it out.
As you get whacked with the stick, a cloud of glitter gets knocked off of you, and Kent's right there to just start licking the top of your head in your face.
And I'm just like, oh, buddy. I just pat him and climb back onto him and just offer my arm to him to just lick as the donkey with the carrot to be leave.
So it's about midday. Again, you've had a rough morning with trying to get over some of these obstacles in the Slot Canyon. And you guys want to stop after this ordeal to try to take a little bit of a rest and have some lunch, or are you all just going to keep on pushing through?
Luna would vote to keep pushing because, again, she's still very concerned about Axel, and she knows it gets worse every night.
Yeah, we
Dry
got
rations
such a
in the
time
saddle
crunch
again.
that I think we just book it.
Okay.
Unless we have to stop at some point, I think the plan is to keep going.
Okay. As you guys, after about an hour after midday, you guys continue down this slot canyon, and I need everyone to make a perception check. If you're spending a nat 20, go ahead and roll, but whisper to me if you're spending it. Two, three, four, five. Who am I missing? I'm missing an Axel because he's away. I can open that up for him though.
If you roll poorly, I say we let Daniel roll.
Agreed.
That just seems fair.
Fair. There he is.
Oh, wait, nope, there he is.
Perception check.
You have disadvantage for being away from the computer.
No. I'm not that mean.
Yes.
Wow, you guys
friends
and
are running
your
out of
roles. Oh, and now I got a missing Celia, who actually made the perception check.
Yeah.
You know.
So actually, since we're I know we're a little bit early for it, but I could use it. Tell you what, let's take our quick break that we normally do. Let Luna pitch our channel and our charity and do pun of the week for us, and we will be right back as our party apparently is. I don't know what they're looking at, but they ain't looking at the road. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll be right back with this perception check.
Hello, lovely audience. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. This channel is run 100% for charity, and this month's charity, the last day to donate to it, is Mr. Holland's Opus, an organization dedicated to bringing music equipment and various lessons and all kinds of educational tools to underserved schools and communities. It is a national organization. If you'd like more information about the organization itself, look in the description, click on the purple letters below, and that'll take you to the website itself. If you would like to donate to it through our channel, we have various donation levels below. Anything from a D10 healing dice to a natural 20. The this month only level, again, last day to do so, for $50. You can add a random ring, rod, staff, or wand of rare or lesser quality to the next loot haul for a specific player. And also, if you just, for any amount, you can donate to the spell bank, as you saw, and at certain levels, we get higher level spells. But if it is not in your budget, please don't feel pressured to donate. You can do things like share us on Facebook and Twitter, all kinds of social media. Otherwise, thank you for joining. And as a special treat, every episode, it's time for Pun of the Week. What do you get when you drop a piano down a mine shaft? A flat minor! I can see that he did.
Oh, that joke is old enough to draw a pension.
I thought it was it's a classic.
It is appropriate. It also, unfortunately, reminds me of taking my piano barrier in music school in college, because we had to learn scales and arpeggios and all sorts of things in every possible major and minor key. But when you went and when you went and did the exam, you didn't have to do them all. You just picked your key out of a hat. So we had them all on little slips of paper. The guy that went before me picked F major, which is a very simple key with one flat. I picked A flat minor, which is 7 flats. It's all 7 flats. The most flats you can have in a key. A flat minor was my key that I had to do my piano barrier in.
Were you
That was
trying
really
to
annoying.
flatten the competition?
Denmar's like, I'm done.
Why do I let you have a medium? I mean, really. I'm just.
Because you don't have a choice.
It's kind of true.
Templar had to go find comfort with his dog. You broke Templar so bad, he had to go find comfort
I
with
did not realize pun tolerance was now an acceptable reason for having a support animal, but I desperately need one.
Here, bird. You
This
can borrow
Luna.
mine.
Fun.
Oh, hi, Max. Hi.
Puppy stream.
Puppy stream.
You're not puppy anymore, are you?
These
Bush
things
puppy.
are the real stars of the vibes, let's be honest here.
Where's Graham?
People don't
Graham.
come for us, people come for the puppies.
Oh, sorry. Hello, unbelievable name. Who knew?
It's perfect.
I was
Friendly.
thinking you laughing maniacally. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Last Sunday in Tanya's game.
No, that's that game. Nope, not here. Nope. And that was not my fault.
It was so funny though.
Okay, shall we get back to it?
I guess.
We're missing dragons or cats, but for this next part, because all y'all, good night. And,
I have alert though, and I cannot be surprised.
He teleports away and we lose them. What happens
So-
when you don't...
Celia, as you guys, about an hour from the last big boulder you went over, you do find another one. This one doesn't go all the way across the channel, so there's a room for you all to squeeze your mounts around. But you spot, as you have found in many places where there's snags and hang-ups, sort of large piles of debris. This debris here that's sort of snagged up against this, there's something different about it. It sort of draws your attention, and it's not like the rest of the debris that you have noticed along the way, which was mainly tree branches and again, there often has been an animal carcass or other things, normal things that would sort of get washed down in a flood. This one seems a bit different. How would you like to proceed?
Celia will kind of tap Kel, like get her chocobo to tap Kel on the back to get his attention and say, that doesn't look right, and point like over in the direction.
Okay, well, I get luck to stop.
Yeah, luck pulls up. The line sort of comes to a stop, and the rest of you just see sort of a rock up ahead that y'all can get around. I mean, it's not like this is another rock y'all have to climb over. So what's the problem? But so, Silly, what do you do? What do you want to do?
Celia is going to hop off of her chocobo
Okay.
and stealthily walk over and investigate.
Roll me a stealth check and then an investigation check.
Alright, advantage on the stealth.
It's the rock fighter, isn't it?
Friend, 21! And then you said investigation?
Yep.
15.
Okay. You get over there, and yeah, this is definitely something that's man-made. It looks like sort of a giant sort of net type structure. Roll me a history check to see if you recognize what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna use a natural 20.
Ooh, okay.
'Cause
Go
I'm
ahead
not
and-
good at history checks.
yeah, go ahead and mark that off. This is a fairly large net. It's probably 9 feet on a side, and as you sort of are going through it, you can see that it's been camouflaged with a lot of natural materials that are very similar to the materials that are on the walls. And as you get around to about the third corner of the net, you see that it's attached to a long, thin wire. And with your rogue skills, you recognize this was a trap. This was a trap that had been set, and that perhaps was tripped by the flood, tripped by something else, and whatever it was that escaped. But basically, this is sort of a fouled trap that sort of then got washed down to this place and has now sort of gotten itself wedged underneath of this rock. It's in the net is in fairly good shape, as well as the tripwire, which is about 30 feet or so. Okay. It's a little bit on the heavy side. It would be kind of bulky, but not so bulky that you, with some maneuvering, you couldn't either get it into Axel's bag of holding or sort of fold it up and put it on. Certainly Carrot is a pack animal. Kent, as a pack animal as well, could very easily carry it. I mean, again, it's a fairly thick net, and when it's bundled up, it's probably about 12 inches wide by 6 or 8 inches deep as you fold it up. I mean, again, you kind of are familiar with traps and can kind of get it fixed back down into what it would be its smallest dimensions.
Okay. Yeah, I'll walk over to Axel and kind of be like, "Back, please." Just kind of.
It's a net. Okay, yeah, sure. And you'll hold open the bag.
Julia makes a mental note that this is going to be added to her string of traps that go off if somebody enters the room.
Yeah, I mean, this is a thick, heavy-duty net. I mean, it certainly would be able to hold, capture quite a substantial creature or number of creatures. Sort of think camo netting, but even a little heavier duty than that. The ropes aren't as thick as like ship ropes, but they're good and thick.
And the tripwire, I do kind of want to see if I can salvage that and just kind of roll it up and put it.
Yeah, no, it's about 30 feet of tripwire. It's that nice black tripwire that is all but invisible when used, certainly in an outdoor area like this. And there's a few knots in it and things like that, but it's well made. In fact, it's certainly not been rotting down here for long by any means. It is still, had it not been caught in a flood, which would have been in good shape.
Yep, I'll just kind of roll that up and put it on my, like, where I store my daggers.
Okay. No, absolutely, you can do that.
And I'm gonna go ahead and check and make sure that there isn't anything else before I get back on the chocobo.
Let's see. With your investigation of 15, yeah, that's about all that you find. I mean, you used the nat 20 on the history, so you got a lot of detail about what it was. But pretty much the biggest thing that you saw out there was this trap that had been tripped and then sort of washed down in the flooding.
Okay. So I will get back on the chocobo in motion to lock that. We're good.
Okay. Yeah, luck sort of spurs mighty on and around this boulder that it had been tied up on. And you all continue for the next couple hours down this thing, not changing much. There's a couple sort of hard curves to the left and then back to the right. But for the most part, it keeps traveling unerringly southward. And because of the depth of this canyon, early in the day, the sky is still fairly light, but shadow starts traveling across this slot canyon, and as the difference in temperature between the air outside the canyon. Hey, cheese facts, thank you. Wow. Not sermon. Cheese and ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. Okay, sure. Thanks for the $10. We learned about cheese, and Lord knows we're kind of cheesy here with our puns and such. Can we get a cheese pun?
What's the matter, you?
There you go. Hey, I'll take if it's giving money to charity. Sure, we'll pitch for cheese.
You can't just demand theme puns off the cuff.
Are you sure? What happened to the cheese factory that exploded in France? There was a lot of debris.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Puns from the sphere.
I think you just made Bird's eyes bleed.
I just made my own bleed when I stabbed myself with my sunglasses. That was great.
So, yeah, you guys, as I said, it's starting to cool off in the canyon fairly rapidly. Night is falling again. It's the same situation you were in the night before. And the biggest thing here is you guys are still about, deep ankle, mid-calf deep in water. Your mounts certainly are. None of you are walking at this point, but it does not seem as though there is dry ground anywhere around. And if you are going to try to find some place to camp this evening, you're probably going to need to start looking now to have something found that might be suitable before nightfall.
All right. Go survival expert.
So yeah, for folks, this one's for only folks trained in survival, I'm going to say, just because we're, and I think that includes Luck, so I think that he's trained in survival. Let me check.
Very good. Blackjack.
Yep, Luck is.
House takes the pot, Daddy.
Look at Luck getting the nat 20. Naturally rolled nat 20 by the DM for Luck. Darn it. Okay.
We just
Why
don't
you
think.
mad, bro?
He can see better because he's sitting in front of me on the mount.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you have a good view of. You've got a good view of basically of Grain's ass.
Well, and at this point, Luck is almost a foot taller than me.
Yeah, he's not 6'6", he's 6'4". 6'4",
Well, yeah,
6'5".
I said almost a foot.
Yeah. So yeah, as you guys, it still takes about an hour, but Luck, with a sharp eye, and especially because he, with his mining background and skills, he spots to the right side, sort of where the limestone and earth is, a cluster of roots that seems to have an alcove behind it. There's a little bit of a shallower area in front of it. The mounts would still sort of have their feet in water, but they're not going to be deep in the water. But as he goes up and explores it, basically says you kind of would have to sort of push aside and sort of squeeze sideways through these big heavy roots. But there is a cavern behind there that that would be suitable and at least out in the dry and has cover from above. Not big enough for the mounts to fit in, but certainly room for all of you if you would like to stay there.
We don't really have many options, do we?
I mean, unless you want to keep going through the night. That's kind of your call. That would be the other option.
So we can, I guess.
I don't think we want to keep going through the night.
No.
Maybe play
Particularly-
it forward down here.
Well, I mean, we've already had some, treacherous passages to get through, and trying to do that at night and consequently not getting any rest for the next day would probably not be a good idea.
Okay. Yeah, you guys sort of clamber up there. You do have to climb a little bit. It's about 10 feet up off of the base of the canyon, but there's plenty of roots there to grab onto. I'm not even going to make you roll for it. Between people's strength and helping each other out, you're able to get up there. Luck makes a small fire, something that's not going to produce a lot of smoke because this is sort of an enclosed space and doesn't have good ventilation. But it's dry, it's flat. It is an earthy space. It has that very sort of peat moss smell to it, as most of it is surrounded by root structures. Axel and Iskrin specifically, as you enter into this and find yourselves completely surrounded by roots of trees from the Midnight Weald, that same sort of thick molasses feel to magic sort of engulfs you. Similar to what you felt back in when you were battling the Guardian Tree outside of Moss Hollow, to what Axel felt in the basement of Reginald's Tower. While magic still flows here, it just flows very slowly. So if you remember the mechanics for this, basically things that would have taken a bonus action would take a full action. Things that take an action take action plus movement. Anything beyond that, and you are, it's magic's just kind of thick here. You eat a fairly sparse, cold dinner. You do have time, though, as you found this fairly quickly. It's probably only 5 o'clock, 5:30 at night right now, and you've sort of holed yourselves up for the evening.
I will ask Celia if she wants to train.
I'm assuming a yes. So yeah, if you could easily get in 3 hours. And interesting, you can sort of, if you want to train out sort of on a uneven, slippery terrain, would certainly be a good thing to learn fencing wise. So you all can alternate doing your attacks, if you will. 3.
Kaboom. Nope.
I'm going to play this, but if you don't want to have it, you're out in your favorite element. There's water all around you. It's flowing, all that fun kind of stuff. You're not thinking about training. You're thinking about all this.
That's fair.
Back in water and flowing water. This crystal clear runoff water out coming out of limestone. So I mean, it's like drinking water. So
Luna must frolic.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll buy that. Yep.
So go ahead and give me the roll for that second set. You are still
super distracted. This water's super fun, man.
Yeah, no, and maybe even you're trying to sort of maybe use some water shaping to enhance, like distract Celia and stuff. She doesn't buy none of your tricks. She's a rogue. Let's do that last one to see if Luna can get her brain about her. Ooh, maybe. Look at that. Finally.
Now one, the lava comes back and hits Celia.
Yeah. Finally, after you do kind of do a feint with the water and then with the sword, and you do actually happen to get Celia off guard and get at least 1 or 2 good licks in there. And begin to start to formulate that sort of mixing of your being able to shape water and fight at the same time. So it's it's sort of a new skill you're trying to put together. So you can go ahead and put down 3 hours of training. And anything else folks would like to do?
Closer to the evening, when it's the real evening, then she'll continue making clothes for the doll.
Okay. Anyone else? I bet Axel's got things he wants to do. Iska, you've got anything?
I don't think so. Really, like there's nothing major. I think like she's just more still in her keeping an eye on people thing. Maybe just bouncing around like light conversations with Luck, with Axel, with Kel, just keeping people going. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So, has Iskrin said anything to everybody generally about spellcasting?
I think he said that the weave had settled down in this area.
Yeah.
He actually, I think, was thinking Iska and Axel as being the spellcasters, but certainly you would have heard him. I mean, I think certainly voices echo down in here. In fact, you've been hearing, your alert you're almost in high alert because the way that noises echo up and down this slot canyon, and as rocks fall and sort of settle into place after the flood, there's sort of almost an overload of sort of things that could be danger on your alert sense. But you would have heard him.
Okay.
I believe I did mention it when I first turned around and was able to see it. But yeah.
More successfully, so.
Oh, there's just one minor thing. Iska will approach Iskrin at some point and just say, "Hey," and make sure Luna's like maybe while Luna's training, and just like lean in and say, "Thanks for keeping your promise." Give him like a little quick hug and then move on. Because he said she would be the first to teleport, and she certainly was.
It's a big smile on his face. Big hug back.
Yeah. Kel is not going to hover, but he's just going to keep an eye on Axel to see if Axel attempts to animate his little twig friend again.
Do me a perception check, Cal. Wow. Hey, Axel, how's your hand look tonight?
Not good. Certainly not terrible, but yeah, no, it is again blackened, and again his fur has lost some sheen as well. It wasn't as bad as it was, I think, the night before, but yeah, still certainly blackened and a little bit rotty.
As you settle down, Axel, you were a bit distracted last night, and so you maybe forgot to check, or even in the morning in the hurry to go thing. There is a new book inside of your library thing. As the weave has settled and magic seems to be flowing, a new book has arrived.
Yeah, and so you've got so many things you want to do. So he calls over Iska. Iska, do you know? You can read, right?
Yeah, of course.
I got a new book. Maybe you want to read it.
Absolutely.
No, yeah, because I kind of wanted to do some study. But if you want to read that,
I'll take a look and I'll let you know the shorthand.
all right. I mean, I do want to read it, but I've got other things I want to do as well. So, yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
So Iska, you will find in your handouts
Just
a new book known as the Sylvan Histories, and you can read a little bit about. It was written thinking of Axel, but it works for you too.
This is simply because Templar didn't want to read this session. I get it. I'll take this.
No, I mean, you have to read it out loud. I think this is just
know.
sort of to give you general. You'll see. And you can, as you discover things, you're welcome to share whatever you'd like to share. But you were saying you had other things you wanted to do, Axel.
So, was there any actually? Was it just the roots? Was there any actually wood accessible?
I mean, you would have to like actually cut it from the roots itself. This is all pretty much living wood inside of here. If you wanted to go look outside for some wood and building materials, detritus that has been washed down in the flood, around just like where the net was caught earlier, you could find wood, or even sort of up all around this cave. I mean, I would say you're going to have to do a check to find some. I assume you're looking for building materials.
Yes, yeah. Building materials for Rayleigh.
Yep. So,
not that he lets people know what he's doing if he's ever going outside the sort of alcove, but certainly, yeah.
So actually, yeah, if you have Kel along with you, I will actually let you roll an investigation, and Kel can roll a survival, and we'll take the highest of the two to see what you find.
Axel hasn't really invited Kel. No, yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, he wouldn't have invited openly because it's just.
Okay.
Kel keeps himself.
Gotcha.
But if he joins in, yeah.
Then never mind that roll. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you with their nat 20s today, Danny.
Well, and the nat ones, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
So yeah, do me an investigation check. Wow.
Speaking of nat ones.
You don't find nothing.
That's a 10. That is.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can sub in. So it would be a 10 plus 6, it would be a 16?
Yeah.
It's interesting. You start looking around and are having no luck, and you're frustrated because you so deeply in your heart wanted to find something good. And you sort of close your eyes and you remember your dream from the night before as you were curled around Rayleigh. And as you look up, and that was the problem, you were looking down. As you look up, you see this sort of group of short but sort of sturdy sticks. Most sticks, that would have been like this would have been sort of thin and sort of brittle, but these are almost like small little stumps of trees. And they're exactly what you were looking for. These would be sort of a nice, stable set of legs for Riley. You will need to climb up a little bit, not near tabaxi, so I won't make you do it.
It's climbing up
Yeah.
issue.
So but you climb up and almost probably a little oversized, so it'd sort of foot heavy, but maybe that's a good thing. Low center of gravity, you sort of put them in one of your pouches.
You'll rush back once he's done that. Got something good, and he'll sit himself down next to Iska and pull a captor's kit from the bag of holding and sort of start seeing if he can sort of assemble some sort of pigs for Rayleigh.
Okay.
As they are, if he doesn't need to trim anything off.
Yeah, do you have him pulled in as a tool, or
I just have a set of carpenters' tools in
Okay.
the bag.
Yeah, no, so that's... No, I didn't know if you had set up for a roll. But, so no, I'll just have this be I'll say a dexterity check, as it's probably more sort of lashing and binding than necessarily carpentry. But, in many old, building furniture and stuff, lashings were used. So let's see if you are able to sort of get something sort of lashed together that would make a nice little set of legs. For a first try, they're not terrible, but you're learning, and again, it's working on this scale, and again, carpentry isn't quite the right set of tools to use for this, but you are able to get things, something fashioned that would work. It takes, and again, because of your role, it does take probably 2.5 hours before all is said and done of you going out, getting it, coming back, and sort of working on them.
But he was, of course, sitting with Isked when he was actually got back and was working on them.
Anything else folks would like to do as we keep going through the evening? Same watch order. Are we going to do Kel first? And Iskren, are you going to go first or second? Or are you going to bridge the two?
I think he'd want to get another solo moment.
Not sure if you're gonna.
That's not possible.
Yeah, you're not gonna get it because Kel's gonna go ahead and go early.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll bridge to two.
Okay, so
I'll hang with Celia and distract her.
Okay, so yeah, you and Celia are up while everyone else sort of turns in for the evening. I need so how do we play this?
He also
I
asked
need
a little bit.
I need Celia to make a charisma saving throw.
What have I done? What have I done? Yeah, no, correct.
Yeah, you're distracted by Iskren, so I need the two of you to make your perception checks at disadvantage, please.
I also, throughout the night, just ask about the Arcana Mystica and just stuff like that, and home and terror.
Trying to keep track of an Iskren, it's like handling the kids and trying to,
Yep.
not get run over by a car. It's kind of a difficult job.
Yep.
Oops.
Where is your little miner?
Checks his pants. Not there. Pulls out Lyle.
Despite the distraction, you do hear noises coming from outside. It sounds like people. It sounds like there's people out in the canyon.
Celia will put her hand over Iskren's mouth and and just kind of listen. She look at Iskren and say, "Hold on." And Celia is going to stand and stealth toward the noises.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Advantage, help me out, please. 24.
On a 24, I mean, you feel as though you're as quiet as can possibly be. And as you head out, you sort of you don't see anything through the roots, but you're still hearing people, noises. You hear clanking of armor. You hear, a group of people. Do me another perception check.
While she's gone, can I prepare invisibility?
Sure.
And get the drift globe out at a moment's notice to flash it up onto down the ravine.
Yeah. You don't see. You said you prepared it. You haven't done this yet, have you, Iskren?
No, I think I'll just do it.
Okay. So you cast invisibility on yourself and you're going into the ravine?
Yeah, I'm gonna like stay within the group. So, like,
Okay.
right,
Gotcha.
like,
So Celia basically has her head sticking out of the roots. You're right behind her by this sort of wall of roots. Everyone else is back behind you asleep.
I'll probably be like maybe 15 feet back away from her towards the party.
Yeah. Celia, you don't see anything. But as you close your eyes to really pay attention to the noises, you realize this is sounds of a group that would be much larger than what could ever fit in this ravine. You hear tack and barding and the sound of wagons creaking, and you hear, plate metal armor and crashing of noises. It's almost the sounds of battle echoing through the canyon. It seems to be emanating from the wall directly across from you, the wall made of sylvan stone.
Celia will, she's gonna go to the wall and kind of put her ear to it.
Okay. Yeah, you walk across and the sounds of battle begin to almost surround you as you sort of step into an alcove, as they're sort of echoing off all of the walls. And as you go and press your ear up to it to listen, as soon as your hand touches the stone, it goes completely silent.
Celia will look at Iskra and say, "Did you hear that?"
You look around, you don't see him, but you do hear him. Did I hear that?
Do me a perception check.
Okay.
Yep, you sure did. You heard the sounds of an army, of a battle, of great masses of forces massing, sort of echoing out of the sylvan stone.
In a slight glittering shimmer, he becomes visible again. The battle, great battle. Then it was just nothing. What happened? In the storm? I heard that.
I think something happened here, but I don't know. It doesn't seem large enough for anything like that to happen here.
To happen here. To happen here. Something that had happened here? Is it something that's happening? What is this Sylvan Stone? What is this Sylvan Expanse? I'm gonna go. I'm a little quiet, apparently. let me know if any better. Hello. Yeah. Ishrin's just going to kind of go up and touch it and see what he can gauge from this now silent Sylvan Stone. Just like to try to get an understanding of how it's going to work, how it works, how magic works through it, and just how residual noise is just coming from stone.
Give me an Arcana check.
I'm going to burn in that 20.
Ooh.
Just for you, Jay. So I'm just going to like put my hand up against it and then like concentrate all my blue energies and light tattoos into the palm of my hand just to increase the connection between me and the stone. To kind of feed it magic at the same time as trying to receive magic.
Cilia, you see Iskrin disappear in a cloud of glitter, and I need everyone but Kyle to take off their headsets.
I'm dead.
Best of luck, bud.
You got your headset off, Cilia? I guess so. You find Iskrin feels, as he feeds magic into the Sylvan Stone, almost feels a feedback into himself. And you feel yourself dematerialize, often as you do when you teleport. But instead of that instantaneous, reconnection with with this plane and where you are at your new location, you find yourself looking at a much different place. A beautiful rolling landscape of green hills and flowering orchards, fruit trees in full bloom, the smells of orange blossoms and cherry blossoms and apple blossom filling the air as springtime has approached this peaceful, tranquil place. And then you hear it, the first explosion. A familiar sound as a fireball detonates nearby, ripping apart the ground and the trees. And then another and another. Magic missiles start shooting overhead. You see blight spreading across the ground, destroying the greenery. These spells passing through you as though you're not here. And you see two armies begin to collide, using weapons of steel and stone as much as of magic. You see creatures who were living in this land being slaughtered in the crossfire as this huge swath of area just gets destroyed. The ground begins to crack from the weight of the magic and the forces that are unleashed. And the bloody realities of magical warfare unfold before your eyes. I see you have a question.
Not a question.
Okay.
Not a question, but more of the stance when that first fireball went off. Why would have been out by his side, or try to grab him and like take a defensive stance, and then slowly just raise as all this magic passes through him. Seeing the creatures die, his expressions kind of dropped a little bit, and then he sees these two forces slinging spells, and it's just...
It seems like you're there for hours, and when all is said and done, you see warriors dead or dying across the fields. All the living things in the land vaporized, destroyed, blighted, burned. The trees ripped apart. The air, once filled with the smell of fruit blossoms, is now filled with that iron tang of death, burning flesh, and decay from magical necrotic means. The weave you see basically left in pockmarked ribbons around you. And then you feel yourself dematerializing again. And you rematerialize, looking at your hand on the sylvan stone in front of you.
Okay, guys and girls and non-binary pals, we can put our headphones back on. I say as people that just put back on their headphones.
So you back? You see Iskrin just disappear in a cloud of glitter, the glittering just sort of falling to the ground, just sort of scattering on the ground where he once stood. Heartbeat goes by. Another. Then another. And then you see it whoosh, reform, and Iskrin appears back before you with his hand on the sylvan stone.
It's a soft pant to his breath, just as he brings his eyes around to look at Celia. And he says, magical warfare. That was a great, great war here. What happened? Two forces. Warriors dying. Magic is the stone. It's as if can't be. It's just the runoff from that. The remains of that war left over. Fallout in a sense. It's what happened here? Do you know from any studies what happened here years ago? Do you know?
Do I?
Throw me a history check at disadvantage.
Oh God.
You know there was a war long ago between the elves of Falinari and the humans of Falcon's Crest. But further than that, you don't have many details.
Yeah, I just say, I didn't really, study it very much. I just know, who fought in the war, but that's it.
Yeah, you left Falinari when you were very young, so.
Well then, that's okay. Maybe in Falcon's Crest, we can find a place, maybe to study. I wonder if Axel has any idea on the knowledge. We gotta go over to where he's sleeping. And I'm going to give him a little bit of a nudge. Axel.
Before Iskrin walks over, Celia just takes his hand and says, let him sleep. He's not going through a good time right now.
He's gonna look at Celia and look down at Axel and be like, yeah. Okay. Let's keep our eyes peeled. If there's any actual trouble to come by, we'll ask him in the morning. Thank you.
Okay. We'll say Celia sort of ends her watch, or actually, I guess Iskrin. So you're going to go to sleep 2 hours in. Then Celia ends her watch. Iskrin's still asleep. Tunarth awakens. And Tunarth, you are alone. Cal you are alone in this cavern. As you come out of your reverie, as Celia has awakened you and she's gone into hers. Anything special you'd like to do while you have this time alone, or just be on the lookout?
I'm just gonna be on the lookout.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check. On a 14. You hear splashing of rocks outside, just the land settling after a flood, things that were overhung and that are now drying out and no longer have the water sort of binding them together. But the night passes basically uneventfully until you do start to see Iskrin wakes up early, bound 4 a.m. Iskrin comes out of his reverie and the two of you are together, and then just your sense of time, that morning has come. Light has not yet gotten this far down into this slot canyon, but of course if you went outside and looked up, you would see that the sky is beginning to lighten up ahead.
I will just make what preparations I can so that we can get on the road and get moving as quickly as possible.
Okay. The rest of the party awakens. Luck, again, tries to make everyone feel good about the morning. Has some warm, just porridge. It's not particularly anything special, but it's something warm. The night, again, was cold. Being not exposed to the sky, you guys stayed a little bit warmer in this inside of this cave. But, it still is chilly, and certainly a warm bowl of porridge is welcome from Luck. Grain is staying particularly close to him during these couple of days. And, so you guys start getting yourselves ready and back on horseback, I assume.
Over the course of breakfast, I will turn to Axel and say, Axel, what do you know about... Do you know anything on wars? Any wars that's happened within this expanse? Anything that happens through here? We had a bit of... And I told him about the ordeal that we had last night and what I experienced and the whole Sylvanstone affair.
Remember, no one else heard what you experienced.
Yeah, no, that was just you and Celia.
Yeah, that's right. I tell them about that.
No, but I'm even saying what I described to you.
Oh.
But anyway, that's fine.
All right. So oh yeah, that's right. All right. So, wow, I'm tired. So I say to Axel.
I assume Isk is next to Axel in the mornings, as she always is.
Yeah, we're all around having breakfast.
Yeah.
I say, last night we were troubled by the sound of men, warriors in plate. There was this sounds of wagons trailing around as we prepared for anything to come at us, but there was nothing. And Celia pointed out that the sound coming from the stone. So I tried something a little stupid. I investigated the stone.
As usual.
I have no idea what's going on with my mic tonight. I'm just like, what the hell? Apparently, as I tried to investigate this stone, I rematerialized back then. Some form of great magical war. Hundreds of native creatures being slaughtered across this expanse. And these warriors, these two sides, the Falinari and Vulcan's crests, of what I can only assume from what Celia knew, some sort of war happened. I believe the Sylvan Stone is the result of that war. But on such a large scale, this resource left behind.
You said
Holding...
Falinari and Falcon's Crest.
Yeah, that's what Celia told of me.
Iska pulls out the book that Axel gave her and says, I looked through some of this last night. It is very much an Axel book, but I could pick up some of these things, and yeah, it's about that war you're referring to. You said you went back and saw these sides clashing?
Yeah, the human, like the armors that some of them were wearing were ancient, but from what I've seen of elven societies around here, especially when I passed around Balestira, some of it looked elvish, some of it looked human, some of it looked dwarf. I don't know, it was such a mix.
According to the book, the Sylvan War happened almost 2,500 years ago. Ishgrin, are you telling me you traveled through stone over 2,000 years ago?
His hand lights up and he goes, yeah. As crazy as it sounds, yeah. I did. If that's when it was, then I had magic missile darts flying through me, fireballs exploding to my side, and completely unaffected as I watched this wall happen.
And you think this Sylvan Stone was connected how?
The land was just being utterly destroyed by all this magic spells going past.
Well, yeah, because when we were in East, when we asked about the Sylvan Stone, they told us that the same thing, that it was an ancient war had imbued the stones with very magic. And well, if it's possible that the children, the souls of the Genasi were trapped in East, the souls of people who died in that war were trapped in the Sylvan Stone here.
The book describes the end of the war. Tens of thousands of human soldiers disappearing suddenly.
The stone remembers. The stone records.
Disappearing suddenly?
The book said, and she's flipping through the pages trying to remember exactly like what was said, but this war had raged for so long, and the humans sent this army out, 10,000 strong, to go through what's called, what is it, the Orchards of Eldath, which I think is the middle ground between Falcon's Crest and Falinari. But anyway, this legion was supposed to go and do one final all-out assault, and wizards back in Falcon's Crest were watching through scrying, and suddenly everything just went dark. And these people, all of them, their horses, their wagons, their equipment, everything were just gone.
Wait. Can I have a look, please?
Absolutely. And I will,
It went dark.
I will point to Axel too, just so he's like quickly caught up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can make this available to Templar.
Yeah,
as well.
I've already got it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Like, sir, it's not even a what is this war about anyway?
I would have to read the whole thing to figure that out. But I found the bit. They do say that magic in the region did go dark, did cut out. Wait, no. It was magic. I think it was magic everywhere that cut out, and then they had to when they got everything sorted again, when it was sort of stabilized, then they flips through a couple more pages, skims them really quickly. Yeah, as far as I can tell. Yeah. So they say here that there was no indication of the army anymore. Like there was gone. No, not even signs of a battle that wiped them out. They were just gone. Do you think that's connected?
Everything? Everyone of the army gone.
Yes.
And you said magic went dark.
Magic just failed. It just cut out. Like,
Yeah.
just absent, like as if we were stuck in the middle of the midnight wield. You know, even worse than that. Just cut
Even
out.
worse. Even worse. What happens on 7 sets of 7?
No, that would be the gate opens, doesn't it?
I think on that night it did. That night the gate opened. That night the gate opened. And they're all using magic. But how does that mean that they came to be remembered through stone? What happened during that gate? How could an entire army disappear?
Maybe they went through the gate. Maybe some.
No, is that it?
As you guys ponder this, I'm sorry, we can say that you all are on the move while you on horseback. I assume same marching order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Freeze.
So you guys can continue on. I just wanted to establish that you guys are moving, so we don't get into that later.
Ishgren.
Kel confers with Luck briefly and we're going to try and push the pace some to make up for lost time yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, you actually don't have a whole lot in your way this far down the canyon. It seems like a lot of the rocks got hung further up, and so for first probably 2 to 3 hours, you actually do. You're able to make fairly good time down this passageway. If I could have everyone just do me a perception check as you are traveling for those first couple hours.
Ishkrin's really focused on this gate shutting, so much so that he does want to pull out the astrolabe and see if he could rewind it back and get a sense of what happened here. Well, what happened if there was a gate, and what happened at that gate all those years ago.
Sure, you can try.
Yep, last nat 20.
Go ahead and burn it. That's not how the astrolabe works. Sorry, buddy.
There's an absolute sigh of hatred as he throws the astrolabe and yells, "Fetch!"
Yeah, Kent goes charging after it, and you actually had him fetch while you were on the back of it. Do me a dexterity check to stay on the back of. Actually, let's make it a saving throw even to stay on the back of Kent, as you just threw a magical thing and told him to fetch, and he goes charging down. So you are able to hold on to it. It's a bouncy ride, though, and yeah, he turns his head around and basically on his big long tongue sort of drops it back in your lap. Yeah, it's a magical item. It doesn't get hurt by it, but
I pat him and let him lick my hands.
Yeah, he does.
Blood magic into it.
Yeah. So
Heavy size.
So after the few hours, you actually do see, while the canyon is sort of staying narrow down here where you're traveling, it does seem to widen out. So it's almost the shape of like a kitchen funnel up ahead of you. And you sort of turn around a sharp left turn. And you can see where this really large stone has wedged itself between the two walls of the canyon. It almost forms what looks like a ramp, but it looks like it's been there for a really long time, as it's been worn by the water. So it's very smooth. It's almost as though it's been there so long that the walls of the canyon almost blend right in to the stone itself. As you approach, it looks almost like probably about 100 feet long, 60, 70 feet high. But it's interesting, as you sort of see that window up ahead of you, you're able to see just sort of wide open sky. You don't see canyon walls beyond it. The water that's flowing down the stream sort of splits and kind of, as you've seen around some of the other rocks, kind of dives down to either side, sort of like underneath the walls. But this rock face, it's fairly steep. Its surface sort of covered with sort of thick moss has grown on it. As though it was, sometimes is underwater. There's sort of a trickle of water going down it. So anyone who's been like on walking on a creek, how you sort of get almost like the aquatic, I call it hair. It kind of looks like green hair. That's sort of slime that's down the surface of this as sort of water still sort of trickling back down it towards you. But it's almost it's almost I guess it's not quite a 45, but it is a fairly steep ramp away from you guys. Just on generally looking at it and the condition of it, you would know that you would probably need to lead your mounts up this. This is not something you want to ride your mount up. It's only about, again, this is one of those areas, it's probably about 12 feet wide, maybe 15. But, if a mount were to lose its footing with you on top of it, it would probably not be a good outcome for you guys. You will need to sort of keep a marching order. I don't know whether you want to keep the same one going through here or not.
Yeah, same marching order. Don't see why to change it.
Okay. So Luck and Kel, Who wants to? Do you want to lead them out?
Before we do this, are we still feeling like we're okay to cast spells at this point?
Yes, actually, you do.
Okay, then before we do this, I'm going to cast Speak with Animals on myself, so I can talk to all the mounts and keep them calm, and help everybody get up the ramp.
And Jay, can you tell us what the voices of all the different mounts sound like?
No.
Okay.
No, I can't. And tell you their true name and their hopes and their dreams. No. So, you guys sort of line yourself up. So, person mount. Kel, before you even get started, goes down, sort of talks the mounts through it, what you're going to do. They seem a little bit nervous. They see that this is steep. Some of them are sort of cockier than others, not too worried about it. But you guys start to sort of pick your way up in a line up this ramp. And
since I do not have a specific mount to lead myself, I'm going to kind of stay going up and down the line as needed, and probably end up coming up last behind, just to make sure that everybody gets up safely.
Okay, so I'm going to have everyone do me a dex check. We won't be doing the animal handling check because I'm going to say that Kel's influence on the animals has kept them all where they need to be. Wow, look at this.
Axel is climbing. Does he still have an issue with that? He's got claws.
This is still. It's just a ramp. If you wanted to drop down onto all fours, you could, but your call, really, of whether if you'd like to. That would. I'll say that it. Your DC will be a little bit lower. If you sort of traverse it on fours. You do have your mount to lead though as well, but he'll pretty much follow you. Kel has talked him through, so we're not.
Axel will just go normally if he's got the mount to lead.
Okay. So did you roll? There you go.
While we travel, I'd like to cast Prestidigitation a couple times and clean my clothes, Celia's clothes, and just everyone else's clothes.
Okay, you can
just
do
bring
that.
The filth out.
So let's see our order. So luck. I need to roll for luck. Give me a second. Oh, I don't. Oh no, I do still have it up. Dex check. Cool. Look at me rolling for luck. So yeah, luck heads up, leading Mighty. Not too much of a problem. You guys follow right behind him. He actually is making it look pretty easy. As Celia right behind. Again, tentatively kind of have to get your balance, but you're able to head up pretty good. Iskrin as well. Heading up with. Cal, you guys are sort of all sort of strung out in a line as you're heading up this. We then have Iska and Axel. Iska, you slip a little bit, but because of the help of Kel talking to Charlotte, she sort of catches you a couple times so that you don't slip. Axel as well, with your mount, sort of keeps you going, and then Luna, Carrot's like, I walk up shit like this, for breakfast, and is heading up, and then Kel comes up at the very back. So basically, right as Luck is sort of just cresting, he hasn't quite gotten to the top yet, but he's starting to be able to see that, it looks like it's open here. He sort of yells down to you guys, almost there, kind of giving encouragement to all of you. And Kel, you're about probably 5, maybe 10 feet up the ramp when you see runes light up right up the center of it. I need everyone to make a dexterity saving throw. If you're using 20s, let me know. So
Crap.
3, 4, 5, 6. Is that everybody? 1, 2. Who am I missing? No, I got everyone, don't I? 1, 2, 3,
no,
4,
we don't have
5, 6.
Kel.
Yep. So go ahead and roll, Cal. Okay. So as you all are standing there, there's this sickening drop in your stomach as beneath you the ramp splits open to either side. Doors open underneath of all of you, and you fall 40 feet down into a pit. And you hit a ramp that is slick, sort of covered with nodules. And for the first fall, I shouldn't have said that. For the fall,
I would like to use my legendary resistance to succeed.
This is on your save. It's not really a magical effect for legendary resistance, but I guess it is a saving throw, so sure, I'll let you. Anyway, for those of you who saved, which is only Kel, because he used a nat 20, everyone else takes 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
No, I don't.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you don't.
Woo!
As Luna, as a monk, does not take fall damage. But you guys all take 13 points of bludgeoning damage. But what you land on is almost a 45-degree angle slope that has nodules on it, smooth nodules meant to make sure that you would lose your footing. This is what Celia would know. Most thieves know as ankle breakers. And as you then all land, not able to get your footing, I need another dexterity saving throw from everyone as you and your mounts all land on this surface at a 45-degree angle.
How long have we been traveling before this?
You've been traveling about 3 hours. It's still the morning. It's about midday. Coming up at probably 11 o'clock or so.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And another save.
Let's get luck.
Roll the chips.
I can't tell.
Is this a check or is this a
It's
save
a saving
this time?
throw again.
Is this on the mount?
Oh, let's check this. That's better.
Yeah.
So Kel, you do take half. Luna takes none of that. But what happens as you hit this surface, all of you begin to slide down this almost 80-foot long slope. You, mounts, all sliding together, and in a tangle. What?
Can I stab Lyle into the slide as a way to stop myself? Just like, chink.
It's not going to be able to penetrate. I mean, you can try if you'd like, but it's going to have to be something special. And it might not be the best decision in this case.
Okay. I'll listen to the DM.
Because what's happening as you slide and tumble, people, mounts, limbs, basically are pounding on top of each other. And I need all of those. Let's see. Did anyone make it? Luna is the only person who saves. The rest of you take 44 points of bludgeoning damage as you are smashed into the walls. Mounts fall on top of you, and you come sliding to a halt in a pile of arms, legs, and limbs at the bottom of this pit trap, with mounts and people sprawled out all around you.
I imagine during this whole sequence,
down.
swimming through the air.
Yeah, no, this is basically people are tumbling down, animals, packs, mounts are landing on top of everybody. And as you guys lie in a heap, who's down?
Iska is out.
Iska's out. Celia's out. Iskrin, you out?
I'm good.
Good. Luna?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Axel?
Out.
Out. Kel, you took 22 plus the 6 before, so I assume Kel is up. Luck took full on both, but let's double check. Luck 44 plus 13 is 58. Luck is up. And that, as you guys lay broken and bruised in the bottom of this pit trap that had been set to gather goods and stop people on this smuggler's trail, is where we are going to end our session today.
Oh, my leg.
Again, except Luna, who's fine.
So it's not that on the slide damage, or is it any bludgeoning damage from falling? I'm not quite sure.
If it is a fall, I reduce the damage.
Right. So I'm not sure because this is more you're getting hit by animals and stuff. I think you get 0 for the fall, right? The true
Correct.
fall. But then I think you take the 44 was reduced by half because you saved.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm still fine.
Yeah. So with 3 of our players unconscious, we are going to wrap up our session today. Let's go around the room. Let's find out where people are from and where we can find them around the internet and if they had a good time.
So that was good fun, ladies and gentlemen.
lost my music.
Okay, fine. I'll start.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Oh, well.
Tunarth.
I'm Tunarth in chat. I'm Colin65 on Twitter, where I don't really do much but retweet the things I'm in, which includes this, and Dungeons and Coffees on most Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern, except for probably tomorrow.
Yeah, because I've been
not,
the Academy.
and
so.
a lot of people, and it's Easter. So,
Yeah, it's Easter.
and then Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern on T. Fredrickson 80s channel for Esla the Power Within, where I play a very different character in Claudia's Brother Zedek, except for not tomorrow because, again, it's Eastern and everybody's doing other stuff. So Esla will be back on Sunday, April 8th. And I also am unprepared to put my link for my YouTube channel, where I have music of the Vice written for and inspired by this lovely campaign that I hope you've been enjoying. And there is the playlist for all kinds of character themes and incidental music, including the creepy Song of the Feeders, which is very triggery for lots of people, and creepy lyrics and stuff like that there. So, yeah, that's me, and take it away, whoever's next.
Next up is Templar Warden.
Hello, I'm Templar Warden, and Axel is unconscious, and rotting, and everything is terrible. And yeah, no, it's great. He is totally not Frankenstein. Totally not. It's alive. So yeah, you may find me anywhere on the internet as Templar Warden, pretty much. You may find me on Twitter at Rainer Templar. I don't do much on there except every now and then tweet something or mostly retweet. And yeah, I had a good session. It was fun and exploring and lore and all sorts of good things and yeah, numbers.
Cool. Next up, we have NNG9.
Hello, I am NNG9. I'm doing fine. I usually play video games and swear a whole bunch on my Twitch channel, though not this weekend because my system's in a different country. You can also find me on Twitter at EdNG98. I live tweet random stuff when I remember the puns of the week and all that jazz. As the two have mentioned, I'm also a player in T. Freshness's 80s game, ESLA Power Within. Link is earlier in the chat to T. Freshness's channel. Dinners and coffees. I'm amazing. I'm super. Yeah, no, covered it all.
Very cool. Next up, Bird vs. Plane.
Hi, folks. I'm Bird vs. Plane. You can find me here during Vice, Sundays during Dungeons and Coffee. You can join our Discord if you want to come and hang out with us off stream. I just put a link in chat. I also stream on my own channel on Twitch, doing a lot of Monster Hunter and Prey. Come watch that nonsense, talk RuPaul's Drag Race, everything else on the internet with me.
Woohoo! Next up, we'll go to Tree Hugging Druid.
Hi, you can go follow me on Twitter. I don't really tweet things, but I retweet when people are streaming D&D. So if you want to know if somebody's streaming D&D, then go follow me.
Cool. And last but not least, Dragons Are Cats, our time-traveling Eladrin.
It only gets more confusing, but better. As a little side note, would I be able to use Mystic Escape to teleport back to Luna's side? As I took fall damage, that would have been great fun. Pain groans to her side. I'm good. I don't know. But I'm Dragons Cats. You can catch me here. You can also catch me on my stream where I do a variety of games, and I also do a D&D live stream for charity called Dragon's Brew, where you can check it out there. We'll check it out in the chat. I had a wonderful game. This was great. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that time travel, as good times are ahead. And what the hell happened?
Cool. And for me, I am Tall Squall. You can find me here on this channel, which we run 100% for charity. Thank you guys for all your donations. We got $615 this month for Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation, which we will be donating on Monday. And we will be starting up on our next charity for next month. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, gather your friends together and tell a story, because that's what it's all about. Have a good one. Bye.
Were we rating? No, that's right. Are we?
I still might pull rate. Yes.
Okay.